Yes, today we're going to study regarding identify TCP/IP. So before starting the TCP/IP class, most of people they don't know how to identify TCP/IP protocol. So there is three things, and we have to understand very clear and this technology going to use for further if you do the automation and DevOps. So you should know three things in identification of TCP/IP. First, loopback address. Yesterday we talked about a little bit at the end of session, and we have next is self-thinking ping test, and third is APIPA, automatic private IP addressing, and we will do the lab on these three. So today we will understand how important these three IPs. So first one is loopback, second self ping test, third is your APIPA automatic auto IP or link state, link local IP it's called. So anyone, do you know about these three? Omkar, do you have any idea about loopback, and you have done any loopback testing?
Yes, I have.
Yes. So loopback address, this is a special address reserved in class A for internet used for testing NIC card. So, and this is not a hardware address. This is the complete software loopback interface against the once you install the network card, it's going to install the software loopback interface as soon as you're going to install the NIC card, and it is does not associate with 1 minute, one call from Pavan. Pavan can join. Is waiting for joining. Let me check it out. No, Sagar Agarwal. Okay, Sagar. Hi, Sagar.
Yeah, hi
Who
Ashwin.
else? Yeah. Okay. So today we're going to study for the identification the TCP/IP that going to help you for automation and other DevOps tool. If you understand about the connectivity, and you have to able to identify the TCP/IP protocol, TCP/IP stack. So if you are not able to identify this going to be major drawback while you are going to do coding or any kind of stuff, integration from the NIC card. So let's understand the very basic of three lab we will do. First for loopback testing, second we will do selfing test and how it's going to help us, and the third is we have APIPA automatic if your DSCP fail, so what range of IP you going to receive in your LAN infrastructure. Okay, so here let me this whiteboard. Yes. So APIPA, sorry, loopback address. So in loopback address, what we going to selected? I'm not so handy. Yeah. Okay. Now it's going to work. Loopback address. So this is the loopback address, and irrespective of any vendor, means whether you have Mac, you have Linux or Windows, any kind of desktop, if you install NIC card you have this loopback. So loopback is a class A, it's a belong to the class A reserve address. We will going to study for subnetting in upcoming classes. Now this is internet communication. What do you mean by internet? Means you have hardware NIC install and this software. If you go very early, there is only the hardware was available, there was no software. You have to uh, additionally you have to install software. I'm talking about 80s, when the OSI model was not defined, means TCP/IP was running on for the. So now we have, as soon as you're going to install hardware, you have software NIC card also installed. That software NIC is nothing that is called loopback interface against your hardware NIC card. So why this is need for you? This test, this is going to verify TCP software installed, started and working properly. If this ping test pass, if you are pinging to this loopback and that is pass, means three things, it's successfully done. That's installation, and your TCP IP stack is started and working properly. Okay, now if it is working properly, if you see how many guys having little bit experience in Python, Python little bit experience on basic level.
Uh,
No,
I
okay,
have.
okay, Sagar, right?
Yes.
Sagar, so do you know Jupyter workbook? Have you heard? Or Jupyter notebook?
No.
No, okay, that's not a matter. Okay, if if you going to open the your Anaconda software, Anaconda, you know?
Yes.
Okay, if Anaconda environment, if going to run, and this Jupyter test drive going to happen on local host, and this will provide you the virtual web design, where you going to virtual platform where you going to do your all the coding in Jupyter notebook, and you going to store this coding. So there, this technique loopback is available. Either you do HTTP 127, and there is lots of virtualization example we have. Earlier, when I'm doing in 2012, I was doing my CCI. In during those CCI classes, we had the virtual router switcher rack on that time, and that's the CentOS, is developed by the CentOS operating system, and we are running on the loopback, means internally using the same NIC card. Virtually we integrated multiple NIC card and we do the testing, because for router switches we have multiple NIC card, we cannot connect that many NIC card. So what we will do, we will do increase the loopback, virtual loopback, by using that. That's a very beautiful use we have for the testing, developing, or any kind of stuff we want to do. Okay, clear point. So we will do the lab today for this. Any question for this, Sagar, Omkar, Preeti? Loopback career, any question for loopback? We will do lab.
No.
Okay, thank you. And the thing you have to remember for loopback, these 2 points, it does not having any hardware associated. Okay, sorry, does not require any hardware association, and no physical connectivity. That's a key point. No physical connectivity, guys. That I want to show. Do you understand what do you mean by physical connectivity? Means you have NIC card, but your NIC card is not connected to any network. Okay, so it's a install NIC card in your PC. You have to test whether NIC card is working or not. So you can test, and the TCP/IP software install in that NIC card or not. That is testing. If your TCP/IP going to be malfunction or corrupt In that in that software you have to complete set of NIC card you have to exchange. So that's the chips work on that. So let's move to the next, and identify TCP self-ping test. So Omkar, can
I have
you?
one question.
Yes, Preeti.
So with this loopback testing, what all network testing we can do?
What all network testing? There is no network testing with this. Only the NIC card testing you can do. You,
So this loopback testing is specific to the NIC card testing, right?
yes, NIC,
Apart from that, no.
no need. Yes, apart from that, we have virtualization testing. I told you that's virtualization testing. This local host 808, you can create a web server, web link through that local. And I will show you once we will do the Python course. So in that, how you can create locally means no need to go to the network outside your PC. Locally you're going to create one network, and that's a local host with the different number of port numbers. So that's the beauty of this. So your NIC card is working, and within one NIC you can virtualize so many stuff. You can create virtual network, but there is a limitation. Again, this is only for testing purpose. You can do, you want to test some web browser or some kind of code you developed and you want to throw in network. Before throwing network, you can do the loopback address for the testing. Okay, after the throwing that software or code in the network, how it's going to work, the same way it's going to be reflect on this loopback address. Okay, so next we have self-ping test. In self-ping test, what is self-ping test? So first of all, you understand the address what we use, logical address. So what is logical address? That's nothing, my IP address, and MAC is physical address. We know everyone. So this self-ping test is based on the logical address what locally you have assigned your NIC card, and you going to ping your own IP. That's called self-test. Then what's the benefit of this self-test? Self-test going to success at only one condition, that if your connectivity is off, connection to the network is off, there is a connection with your NIC card, then only it going to work. Otherwise there is no. Yesterday we saw that the ping test, self ping test, was failed again and again. So we will do today. Once connection is off, so we have lab, the connectivity we can do two way. Either connect your NIC with the Wi-Fi, that's the wireless, or you can connect with the wired connectivity, right, Sagar, Omkar?
Yes.
Okay, so NIC, so there is a testing of connectivity, whether connection, do we have connectivity or not. So if there is no connectivity, means self ping will not going to work at all. Okay, next, need hardware associated with it, definitely. So that's a complete different from your loopback address. Loopback address, no need to any hardware associated with that. We need software, that's all. Means TCP-IP stack or suite has been installed in that. Now next, require a physical connection to network. Yes, this is very important. This is the testing. There we don't need any physical connection. If there is no connectivity, you can do your NIC card testing. If there is connectivity, we can test our network. then only we can do the self pinging. And guys, while we will start coding, I know everyone here for Ansible automation and DevOps. So once we will finish this, that time you will get to understand this, why your code is fail, or when what code going to help you for the loopback testing, and how you going to the physical connection testing. Okay, because you no one going to physically check those connectivity, but you are sitting on remotely by running some code, you going to identify what is the status of TCP/IP. Clear, comfortable, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so why? Because two connections, wireless connection and physical connection, we're going to test. We will do lab and in couple of minutes. Okay, so this next we have very beautiful uh, technology, but this is absolute technology, means there is not a wide use of this. However, but is a very useful, means this technology, the automatic private IP addressing. First we're going to study for private and public IP, uh, uh, for IP addressing. Once I will start for that, thus let me lock this, then it will not move. So now it's locked. So first you understand this range of IP, this range, from which class. Leave it, we will do this subnetting, then we will see the this range of class. So /16 means our subnet is 255.255.0.0. this is our subnet, means we have 2 to the power 16 IP, right guys? So 169.255, this IP is reserved for automatic private IP addressing. What is automatic private IP addressing? You cannot use this for manual or through DSCP. Manual or through DSCP. Be remember, you should not use either in manual or through DSCP. Means in DSCP range you should not highlighted this range, you should avoid highlighting this private IP address. Now how it's going to work, you can go through this RFC also for this technology how in detail. That is for linked local technology called. We are going to study and do the practice in detail when I will come for IPv6 with the lab. We have multiple lab for the link local, but this technology come with the list IPv6. However, this automatic private addressing, once your DSCP going to be down, it's a very rare case because you have primary DSCP, secondary DSCP, and sometimes ternary DSCP. Suppose in the worst case all three go down, then your LAN structure, LAN connectivity, means within your organization the communication going to be break. So this technology, once they are not able to receive the IP from DSCP, they're going to assign a IP from this range by themselves, and that will be within the one broadcast domain that going to be unique. They maintain these things uniqueness within the broadcast domain, and within that broadcast domain your LAN going to be communicated on above on this range. So we will do today lab. If we're going to make all the DHCP, means there is no DHCP, of course, and we can see without DHCP what range they are taking for this IP. Okay, now this APIPA terminology is given by the name by the Microsoft, the terminology APIPA, but APIPA is not used so frequently for network computing. So we are telling the automatic IP, that's the short form APIPA. Okay, now we are considered as a link local addressing. In network world, this is called a link local, and this terminology came from the IPv6, from the IPv6. So we have, it will automatically going to assign IPv6 as well as IPv4 link local address, and this is local to the link, means this going to be unique IP for the that link, for that broadcast domain only. Clear guys till here?
Yes.
Okay, so we have name as stateless. Can you tell me what do you mean by stateless address auto configuration? Anyone?
Status no subnetting will be there. Like it will have,
Okay, okay,
like
yes,
if it is a class B, then it will be like 16 bit for network and 16 for host.
yes. As I said you, once it's your DSCP or any kind of connectivity lost, so they going to, there is no subnetting, means within broadcast domain they going to use the entire slash 16 subnet, entire slash 16 subnet. So means if you have different broadcast domain, again they're going to use same range with the entire slash 16. So this is not an efficient technology, but your LAN going to be communicable, means the communication not going to be break. So we will do lab, and each and every technology today we're going to remember by doing the lab, not by the this topic. Okay, till here any question guys? So we are finished with the all theory part, and I'm going to move on lab. Okay, now lab third. So this is third lab we are going to do here. So what we have to do in lab, let's briefly understand first. So in lab we have loopback, first lab we have loopback address pinging test. So why do you need this? If there is no connectivity, do you remember, there is no connection, we will do without connection, we will do there is a NIC card or not. Okay, so we will check it's working or not for packet tracer, and we have virtual box in that Linux is running, so we will test, because I can do this testing on my Linux and Linux desktop also, but we have to remove the connectivity of network. Okay, so I cannot do this testing while I'm taking class on the same desktop. Clear guys? So I have virtual box in that Linux is running on. I will show you the lab. If I remove, if I'm going to remove the NIC card. Clear? Everyone understanding this part?
Yes.
So what is the lab? What is the lab today lab? So we have two Linux server. Okay. So every Linux server having multiple NIC. So suppose one Linux system having two NIC card, and we will check for self ping test because NIC card is connected, and another next Linux server or we will disable all the NIC card. Okay, but there is a NIC card, right? But we will disable, means there is no connectivity with this NIC, and we will do the testing of the loopback testing. So we will get the loopback testing and self ping testing. Clear? And for window testing, you can do in your home. Yeah, you have window machine, everyone, right?
Yes.
Yep. And self testing we will do for the packet tracer, and we will test in Linux self SSH testing. What do you mean by self SSH testing? This is the another very good um, uh, what you can say technique by which you going to do SSH, means like from putty you going to do SSH telnet yourself. What is the use of that? I will come to later, later on the course, how you going to use. We are studying networking, but we are not concentrating within the network what we can do. Outside the network we can do, means we can extend, scale the network, but within the NIC card, I want to show you today class how powerful NIC card. Even we are not going to outside the network, outside the our desktop, we can do so many stuff. Then we will study the outside the network once the packet flow. So how the you going to do self SSH testing? We will do only testing today. We will not going to study for the what are the uses. Later on I will use in DevOps and other place how this is very useful. The same thing, Linux self test, you can do same thing on window at your home. I'm not going to show you, that's a very easy. Same thing, you have to install the putty and you do. So we will install putty, we will try to capture all these things. Now last lab we have LAN connectivity test, while we're going to make the no static IP, no static IP, there is no static IP, no static IP, and DSCP going to be fail. So it's supposed to be assigned the automatic your link local IP, and on the basis of link local IP we will do the communication within the LAN, means one PC going to communicate. Once there is no static IP, manual IP assigned, and DSCP also failed, so they will get the automatic IP, and we can communicate, we can ping, we can test the packet are moving between using the auto IP or APIPA. Clear guys? Should we start now? Any question to you here?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's move. Preeti, there is no questions, I should move for lab.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay, so let's go to, okay, first I have virtual box. In that I'm just want to show you, we have one system. Let me log in, and I have another system, both are Linux. Okay, so let me check how many NIC card do we have. So what is the command of identification, how many NIC card is running? You can do the command is so config, if config, interface config. So there is a two NIC card. This is one NIC card, okay, which is connected to the LAN, and this is the loopback, loopback testing address. In the Linux you can see these things, but in window you are not going to able to see the loopback. Okay, for that you have a special command, or you can do the direct pinging test in window. So we have two NIC card. First NIC card associated with my Wi-Fi connectivity. This is my Wi-Fi connectivity, and this another NIC card with the LAN connectivity. So we can test this. Here we will test the loopback. Of course, if this NIC card they can able to identify, means mine, I have NIC card and it's working fine. However, I can easily test this and it will work.